truth ignites, riding through the fire into the night. Clubs and chrome, stories unfold on the edge of the road where the legends roll. This is the biker angle, raw and real. Hollywood and Black Dragon on the steel. News, respect, and the open road. Two wheels, one voice, breaking the code. No filters, no BS. Just bikes, brotherhood, and the truth.
What's up, everyone? How you guys and gals doing? Welcome to the Biker Angle, baby. We got Black Dragon in the house. We got a packed show today. We're going to be continuing our research, I guess you would say, into these developments with the Mongols, Warlocks. There was a shooting down in Daytona Beach just a couple months ago. Friday, we were on air, and a lot wasn't adding up at all the way they were.
That was crazy. Yeah.
It was nuts, dude, the way it was going. But we're going to ask ourselves a question here. Were the Mongols actually the victims when it came to this? Because we got some information from some of our resources that really opened our eyes onto this one. And, you know, we put on the sheriff, what was it, Friday, with him claiming that nobody was talking and all that type of stuff. And then our guest that's coming on in a little bit, he actually went and got all the paperwork, man. You were even surprised by, you know, I just told him just now in the back room, man, he needed to get into porn or something, man, as a hobby. And then, but he got that paperwork, dude. And we're going to be going over that paperwork with him.
He busted us in the ass on this one, Hollywood.
He did. And you know what? One thing that I know Insane Throttle and you, as well at Black Dragon Biker TV, we always give credit where credit is due. And if we're wrong, we're freaking wrong. But I don't know if we can say wrong in this case, because we were just going by the newspaper article and how strange it came about. But we have learned quite a bit about this incident.
Let's go back real quick and let's look at this article and how weird and strange the article was, because it turns out that a lot of what that article was saying was backed up by a 49-page indictment that we never saw. But the article was just weird with how it covered stuff and linked off to stuff, and it was very suspect. But it was also incredible. It did not jive with what the sheriff said, which was that nobody was cooperating. It didn't jive with that, and so
No,
you know, oh yeah, they've you can only see this free a couple times, and then they stick it behind the firewall. But there was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on in here that we would link off to and everything, and this was the weirdest thing in the world. So one of our the little background, you can go ahead and kill that now. Well, the background is one of the guys watching the show, and you're going to introduce him in a minute, went and found that 49-page indictment.
He did. He was on top of that, and that's when he contacted me. I was like, hey, man, it's your story and stuff, so you got to break it down. But one thing was interesting that we found out is some of the events that allegedly happened leading to this. And we didn't see any of this in the indictment.
Our phone was ringing off the hook, man. And
right.
And we've heard from sources that are reliable.
Very reliable, yeah. That, you know, because there is in here, I think, where they said there was an incident with 3 Mongols before this happened, and we actually found out what that incident was and why it led to some hostility between the clubs. I guess that there was a brother that was lost from the Mongols, and they had it one of those roadside memorials, that we always see, crosses and, in memory of. And allegedly, according to this source, the Mongols caught the Warlocks messing with it. So that led to some animosity there.
That happened on the side of the road or whatever the case may be. So that is allegedly. So what we try to do is we always try to give both sides of the story. And there are certain folks who just can't come on and give the story. And as with all news media, we have, sources that we don't reveal, but we do check them out, and we make sure that they have authority to speak and stuff like that. And so in the background, we've done that kind of research. And so we're not trying to bring to you BS. Now, but these are the stories that we hear, and we present both sides of the story. You guys determine what side you want to believe or whatever the case may be, but we present as many sides as possible because we think that's fair journalism and fair reporting.
That's why a lot of people come to us, man.
And we're finding more and more clubs will come to us and say, hey man, this is what's being put out there, but here's some other things that you might want to look at. So that's how we wind up here.
And another thing that we did not find in the indictment that we found out was, at first there was, I believe, 3 or 4 Mongols filling up at the gas station. And I believe what was told to us, there was 17 or 18 Warlocks that were actually there first. Now, what happened was the 3 Mongols or 4 Mongols, they called, for assistance. Here you are facing, a whole army out there. So you're going to call for some backup. And when and we got the video, we're going to let the video play too. They started arriving, and there was negotiations. And I know this to be true from a Mongol standpoint, just by watching some of the other incidences that they've been involved in, where they offered a one-on-one to the Warlocks, meaning each one of you get to pick whatever Mongol, and everything's one-on-one. And then it just spiraled from there.
Well, so okay, let's go back a little bit. So when they talk about the issue that happened before, some of those guys had been involved in an issue before where, so the explanation was the Mongols that were involved with attacking the Warlocks before, the explanation was, well, we caught them dishonoring a roadside, I guess, marker.
Yeah, this is 2 separate instances.
Yes, so this is 2 separate instances. But when you read the story, they say, well, these guys were involved in this before. Well, there was a backstory that says this is why that happened. So it wasn't just like we were circling around the town and attacking those guys. So that was the explanation for that. So as you come forward, the other side of the story says, no, we didn't just come there and start shit with them, but we got there and there were more of them than us. And so there were challenges or something, some sort of back and forth first. Then we called our folks, and our folks came. At some point, there was, it was said for all intents and purposes that everything was settled. And you see some of that in the reporting when you look at the 49-page indictment.
Let me bring up the videotape. Then you can, because you're explaining that, then you can explain it afterwards.
Is going to pull in here in a little bit. It'll be on the bottom of the screen. And the state representative, Clint Walker, he's there with a couple other guys. He gets out, and it seems when he gets out of the car, that's when all hell breaks loose. So you're maybe looking at 8 to 10 to 12 Warlocks. And as this thing starts to grow, you're looking at maybe 30 or 40 or more Mongols that were all coming up from the clubhouse. And they made a beeline up 95, probably going over 100 miles an hour to get up there. So you still see them pile in. There's their colors. They obviously know this was going to happen. Again, this happened last July in Titusville, where they surrounded a group of warlocks from US 1 and prevented them and blocked US 1, and then all hell broke loose. This is Clint Walker pulling up. He's driving the car. You see them get out. Nobody does anything until he walks over. What he's saying, we don't know. But shortly after he's there, all hell then begins to break loose. We're not showing you some of the cell phone video where you could really see and you could really hear the gunshots, and you see people diving for cover, people running across 44, and here the beatdowns begin. And here's the guy's that guy's got a gun. So like I said, there was a total of 7 guns that detectives were able to identify, 4 shooters. And then obviously, game's over. Everybody beats feet before the cops get there.
So he didn't mention, if you know, and you're right, he did construe that incident off of Route 1 with this incident.
Right. Also, he said that everything seemed to be okay till the one guy got there. And so from what we heard, there was an offering of, that there was an actually offering to, hey, let's just square up one-on-one. You pick the guy you want to fight and we'll square up. And that offer was denied by the Warlocks. They declined that. So at some point, it seemed like everything was over and each side was going to go its own way. The sheriff points that somebody came in and that person lit it all off. And so that kind of jives with what we heard. It was probably going to be let go at some point. Everybody seemed to be kind of chilling out. And then there's always one. And the sheriff named who he thought that one was. And so we moved from there.
And the indictment that we're going to be going over, it's a federal one, I think. I was just told that. But here's what we kept on going towards when we were told, hey, nobody was cooperating.
The difficulty was you had no victim, right? You had 2 people shot that were warlocks that refused to cooperate. You had people in their cars who their vehicle was shot up, refused to cooperate. All we really had was the cell phone video, and it was tons of cell phone video that people shot on 44, that shot inside of the store parking lot. They shot inside the store and the store video. So,
you know what? One thing that is said, man, when you get multiple people all in there, all kinds of different views of an incident comes out, man. No wonder witness testimony ain't reliable. You know what I mean?
Well, is it even reliable from the sheriff?
That's true.
Or anybody in the world. Yeah.
I don't believe the sheriff's an honest player, because in the past he sat with FBI agents calling members of clubs terrorists, domestic terrorists. So him out of the way. And I believe what we always say, you got to bring the receipts, you got to bring the paperwork to this type of stuff before there's any accusations out there. And we're going to be doing that in a couple minutes, is going over this paperwork with everybody. That way they can decide, because there is always 2 sides of the story. And I would go back and ask everybody to answer the question at the end of the show, which, by the way, members only. You're going to be able to come in after this and you to ask questions. Everybody's going to be in here. Again, you'll have to be a member to get into the members only deal, so you can join on either channel with that one. But we're going to ask ourselves, were the Mongols the actual victims in this deal, or does the government have such a hard-on for them that they fail to mention exactly what went on in this incident? You got anything else before I bring in Brandon?
So it's interesting because where we were reporting a couple of days ago, earlier in the week, our reporting was what the sheriff just said. There were no witnesses. They had to do everything on their own. Nobody cooperated. And so when we saw this article that I just showed at the beginning of the show, where in the article it quoted a warlock as having cooperated with the police to an extent, at least. Yeah, we called that reporter every name in the book. We went through the article and all that sort of stuff, and so we kind of left in a lurch when the guy you're going to introduce came up and said, "No, I found the paperwork and that article is correct." So that leads us to where we are now.
Exactly. But at the same point, I still got to point it out, man. You got to have sources when you write articles like that. He had.
Oh, his article was horrible. Yes.
Yeah, he had links to 2011 with clubs not even involved in this stuff.
It made it look very suspect or even planned or something or orchestrated. Because he never mentioned or showed what we're going to show. He never mentioned or showed or even named or even said, "Hey, there's a 49-page indictment in there." Although he did quote directly out of it, but he didn't. Motorcycle club people, we kind of want to see the paperwork. That's how we work. Let us see it with our own two lion eyes, and we'll believe it or not. So that article did not do that.
Okay, we're going to bring him on.
Welcome to Insane Throttle Biker News. Before we dive into today's conversation, the audience should be reminded that the views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official stance or opinions of Insane Throttle Biker News, the Biker Angle, or any other programs that are associated with Insane Throttle Biker News.
What's up, Brandon? How are you doing, man? You are.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, dude. You're a detective out there. You got this paperwork right away, and
I don't know about the detective part.
This is how you spend your time off, man. I told you, man. Get in.
Yeah, he's a cop hater to the max.
I hate the police, bro. I absolutely hate them. I hate people that look like the police, man.
There you go, man. So
how's everybody doing?
How's everybody doing? No. So let's get into this. You and BD have a kind of a plan to go through this. And one of the requests I think of everybody on the show right now is to go verbatim on this statement. And later on,
I'm going to do that first.
I'm going to try to get this uploaded to MediaFire so you guys can download it. See for yourself if you want to, but we're going to be going over a lot of information here, and BD, go ahead, you guys take it over.
Well,
BD, if we can, I thought maybe we'd kick it off with the actual statement, and then read everything leading up to it.
So this indictment is absolutely huge, and it is just very, very detailed. They go through everything that they have and all the witnesses and how they found them and how they tracked them down and all this kind of stuff. And so where do you want to go to start? What page you want to start at and where?
Well, we have the chat. I'm paying attention to the chat a little bit. We already have people saying fake news. So I just want to kick it off with this.
Hold on. Don't look over at that chat. Look here.
Okay.
Focus here.
I just wanted to kick it off with this statement at the bottom of page 11, if we could.
We don't focus on the chat because people troll the chats, this, that, and the other. We don't argue back and forth with the chat. Okay, so where do you want to go?
Okay. Let's go bottom of page 11, sir.
Bottom of page 11. All right.
Yep. Middle of the page where Detective Daly then completed a sworn interview.
Well, can we start by saying who wrote or
yeah, sure.
What agency took this? Because I think
that's fine.
So in the circuit,
that's fine. Yeah.
In the circuit court of the 7th Judicial Circuit in and for Volusia County, the affiant here is so this is the state of Florida versus Clinton Neil Walker. This is that paperwork, and the affiant. Detective Brian Howard, He is a member of the Volusia Sheriff's Office Domestic Security Unit. And he is the person that is putting this. Affiant is the one that's putting it together. His name is Detective Brian Howard. He is currently with the Volusia Sheriff's Office, is currently assigned as a detective with the Volusia Sheriff's Office Domestic Security Unit. He is an investigative law enforcement officer in the United States within the meaning of Title 21 of the United States Code in Florida Statute, Section 934.026. In that, your affiant, which is the detective, is empowered by law to conduct investigations and to make arrests for offenses in the Title 18 United States Code 924 and offenses in violation of Florida statutes. He is also, at the same time, employed by the Volusia Sheriff's Office for the past 12 years and assigned to the DSU, as we said earlier. And here's the other thing, also the FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force, and has been so since 2018. So this talks about his background. He's been previously assigned to the Sheriff's Office Detectives Unit since 2016. He's investigated persons and property crimes. He has also participated in and conducted investigations of violations of various state, federal criminal laws, including armed robberies, homicides, sexual offenses, weapons violations, shootings, deaths, narcotics, possessions of explosive devices, written threats to kill and conduct a mass shooting, and gang investigations. He's done it all here. And so he participated in the investigation of the offenses and individuals described in this affidavit, which describes a whole lot of people. This affidavit is based on his personal knowledge and experience as well as information provided to him by other assisting law enforcement agents, intelligence information learned from surveillance, the analysis of telephone toll information, and information provided by confidential sources.
Confidential sources.
The Volusia Sheriff's Office and surrounding law enforcement agencies have conducted yearly intelligence gatherings for both Bike Week and Biketoberfest motorcycle events held in Volusia County. During these events, law enforcement personnel tasked with gathering information on outlaw motorcycle gangs have garnered vast experience and knowledge of these motorcycle clubs. Now, due to the rising tensions between OMGs throughout the nation, and this is something that I think all OMGs or OMCs rather should be looking at. This is what's happening as a result of these rising tensions. Due to the rising tensions throughout the nation, and we've been covering it from North Carolina to Florida to all the way to California, they list the possibility of injury to both sworn and civilian individuals alike. Law enforcement personnel in Volusia County have then, as a result, have partnered together to create a network to share OMG information on these events that transpire not only in Florida, but across the country. So they talk a little bit about the Mongols, stuff that we already know, but they say that there is a chapter located, and they give the address where the chapter is, and that they were being, this is very interesting to me, that this chapter there in Volusia County was actively being monitored and surveilled during motorcycle events, and we're talking about the two that happened in Volusia County. And so because of those, and we're talking about Bike Week and Biketoberfests, okay, they have put all these people together to monitor specifically in Volusia County this Mongols Motorcycle Clubhouse. It's monitored and surveilled during the aforementioned motorcycle events, and when scheduled state meetings are discovered by law enforcement, they're monitoring the clubhouse. Probably not something that they don't already know, but if they didn't, there you go. The Volusia Sheriff's Office has probable cause to believe that the below Mongols members have actively engaged in criminal activity in Volusia County, specifically the 50-plus person brawl and shooting, which occurred at the racetrack gas station at 3000 SR 44 New Smyrna Beach.
So basically, what you were just reading, Beatty, is the detective taking this statement, who he's from.
Mm-hmm.
He's also an FBI agent. Yep.
Yeah, he's on the FBI task force. I just wanted
terrorism task force,
which doesn't make him particularly an FBI agent, but it makes him on the task force.
Well, yeah, I just wanted everybody to get a sense of who was writing this. the narrative that you just provided before Brandon goes to where he wants to go with you.
Yeah, that's good. However you guys want to do it, I appreciate you having me.
So you
what I wanted to go ahead, BD.
So you wanted to go to page 11.
Yeah.
And here you go.
Yep. I think that's what people want to see.
So this is the beginning where Detective Daly then completed a sworn interview. Okay, so go ahead and take it from here.
Okay. So Detective Daly then completed a sworn interview with Mr. McDaniel. This is Thomas McDaniel of the Warlocks. He started by stating that when he arrived, a few Mongols were by the fuel pumps and a few possibly in motor vehicles at the west side of the gas station. He then stated that on the east side of the racetrack, where the incident occurred, is where Warlocks were located. Mr. McDaniel stated that he did not notice anything out of the ordinary when he pulled in. He acknowledged the member of the Mongols by a head nod, and they nodded back. Approximately 8 to 15 minutes later, he was exiting the business. He observed a large number of Mongols arriving on scene. He explained that they came into the parking lot very quickly and with purpose. It was advised that they arrived in both motorcycles and vehicles. Once on scene, the individuals got off or out of their vehicles, rushing over to where the Warlocks were located. He believed that someone possibly called them, but could not confirm this. Shortly thereafter, shouting occurred between the two clubs. Due to this, he went over to... Go ahead.
Now, this is a Warlock talking to the cops, right?
This whole statement is Thomas McDaniel of the Warlocks talking to the police.
I just wanted to, keep everybody up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing that. Yeah, this is Thomas McDaniel, a patch member of the Warlocks, giving a statement. So I'll continue. Shortly thereafter, shouting occurred between the two clubs. Due to this, he went over to his chapter, Virginia, in parentheses, which was located on the east side. While near his motorcycle, a Mongol member questioned Mr. McDaniel to determine if there were any issues between them. Mr. McDaniel responded and insinuated there were no issues. The shouting then escalated to a physical altercation by other parties. Due to this, the subject Mr. McDaniel was speaking to punched him in the head repeatedly. This is Thomas McDaniel telling the police that a Mongol punched him in the head repeatedly. It was then stated that Mr. McDaniel believed he was struck with an object in the back of the head. While the subject was hitting him, multiple gunshots were heard, and Mr. McDaniel proceeded to take cover behind the trucks that were parked on scene. So this is Thomas McDaniel telling the police he got punched in the head, hit in the back of the head with an object, and hearing gunshots from what he determined were Mongols.
Now,
Mr. McDaniel,
let's go back, Brandon. Now, we seen from the video that none of this was happening until the one guy showed up. So it sounds well, no, I'm asking you, it sounds like a totally different point of view than what really happened, I guess you would say, Black Dragon, or what?
Well, did this not all happen before everybody came into the parking lot?
So the way that I read it, I see you guys have covered this extensively. Ahead of this, I'm looking at the information that I found on the Volusia County website and their databases. So I've watched a little bit of videos about this, but I haven't seen that side of it the way you guys have. I haven't watched a whole lot of videos. My knowledge is what I've read off this paperwork.
All right, go ahead. I just wanted to bring that up. Go ahead.
Oh, that's a good question. These are all good questions. So, so this is, again, I'll finish. I just want to reiterate that so far we have Thomas McDaniel making a statement to the police on scene, apparently, that he was punched in the face, hit in the back of the head with what he called an object, and then he heard gunshots coming from what he had already determined to be the Mongols. So after that, I'm going to read on. Mr. McDaniel then looked for his girlfriend, Miss Snow, to determine if she was okay. Once he observed her on the west side of the parking lot, he shouted to her to stay where she was. While speaking with Mr. McDaniel, Detective Daly was able to show him a headshot. This is important. Detective Daly was able to show him a headshot of the suspect who was currently detained. So he's showing Mr. McDaniel a face to see if he can positively identify him as one of the shooters. He stated that the individual shown was on scene.
Can you say that
and
again,
arrived?
Bill?
Yeah, I want good. Thank you for doing that. So this is him. Thomas McDaniel is being shown a picture of what is a suspected shooter in this situation, and Thomas McDaniel positively identifies him. He says he was able to show him a headshot of the suspect who was currently detained. He stated that the individual shown was on scene and arrived in a vehicle. He stated that he could not recall which vehicle. Through the interview, it was determined that the male suspect, Mr. Walker, meaning Thomas McDaniel identified Mr. Walker, was on scene and involved and in the involved group, who he already stated were the Mongols. Mr. McDaniel stated that he was not sure what his exact involvements were. Upon Mr. McDaniel observing Mr. Walker's neck tattoo, he stated that it appears that he is part of the Mongols. And that's verbatim.
Yeah, well, what's not verbatim is that he accused him of being a shooter. Doesn't say that here.
Okay. I would reiterate that Mr. Walker, he just, okay.
I think that's a little bit of a leap. Actually, what he said here was that he wasn't sure what Mr. McDaniel's involvement was in the group, but more that he was there. It doesn't say that he identified him as a Mongol. It said he's looking at his tattoo. He showed his tattoo, and he said it stated that he appears to be part of the Mongols.
Okay. I feel as though he alluded to the fact that he was the shooter, but that's okay.
Let's read that again verbatim. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to go back up to the part where he's getting hit in the head. While near his motorcycle, a Mongol member questioned Mr. McDaniel to determine if there were any issues between them. Mr. McDaniel responded and insinuated there were no issues. The shouting then escalated to a physical altercation by other parties. Due to this, the subject, Mr. McDaniel, was speaking to punched him in the head repeatedly. It was then stated that Mr. McDaniel believed he was struck with an object in the back of the head. While the subject was hitting him, multiple gunshots were heard, and Mr. McDaniel proceeded to take cover behind the trucks that were parked on scene. Excuse me. Mr. McDaniel then looked for his girlfriend, Miss Snow, to determine if she was okay. Once he observed her on the west side of the parking lot, he shouted to her to stay where she was. While speaking with Mr. McDaniel, Detective Daly was able to show him a headshot of the suspect who was currently detained. He stated that the individual shown was on scene and arrived in a vehicle. He stated that he could not recall which vehicle. Through the interview, it was determined that the male suspect, Mr. Walker, was on scene and involved in the group, or in the involved group. Mr. McDaniel stated that he was not sure what his exact involvements were. Upon Mr. McDaniel observing Mr. Walker's neck tattoo, he stated that it appears that he is part of the Mongols.
And it says stated in there?
Right here?
Yeah, it says stated about 15 times.
Go ahead.
Yep. No, that's fine. So I thought it was going to be important for everybody watching to see first that this is a gigantic statement made by this individual. And then, BD, did you want to continue to go through the history that they tried to present? Or are we going to skip that?
No. Is that okay? So that's what you wanted to reveal there.
I wanted to start out with that because I take a large amount of accountability in releasing this kind of stuff, because this kind of stuff does ruin people's lives, and I wanted to make sure that people know that, like, I'm not just over on my page talking about shit or stuff that isn't true. So that's why I wanted to start out with the statement he made and then cover the rest of it.
It does say he stated it, so But go ahead.
So
Yeah,
I
but
think
it doesn't say that he stated that guy was a shooter.
No, I didn't say that, but I'm saying that it says stated a lot through that paragraph.
Yeah, it's just stated a lot. Well, further.
And my point in saying that, BD, my point in saying that wasn't to call.
Not only does it say stated, but later on you'll see it says sworn statements. So that's in there. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so my point in saying that he identified the shooter was because I've read the culmination of all this paperwork, and actually at the time that he was looking at the headshot of Clinton Walker, allegedly Clinton Walker, I want to make sure I say that about these individuals. He was looking at a headshot of Clinton Walker, and he positively identified him as he's in the back seat as a suspected shooter. So that was what I alluded to, so I could be more clear about that.
That he knew that he was in the backseat of the car, that he knew he was being suspected of being a shooter.
Okay.
And the police didn't even know that he was a shooter. I mean, if you're reading through the indictment, the police didn't even know that he was a suspected shooter at the time that they had him in the back of the car. They figured that out later looking at the video. So, we have to be careful with the conclusions that we jump to and statements that we make, because they can ruin people's lives. This is where you and I have always had differences in some of the.
It's okay. I think you stopped. You're reading at the bottom of confidential sources. I think that's where you stopped. So I'm just going to continue reading from there, and then I'll pass it back to you if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so we're on the bottom of page 2. The Volusia sheriff.
Hold on. Let me get there. Page 2, bottom of page 2. Go.
Yeah. Yep, the Volusia Sheriff's Office is where I'm going to start reading.
We're there.
Okay, the Volusia Sheriff's Office, VSO, and surrounding law enforcement agencies have conducted yearly intelligence gatherings for both the Bike Week and Biketoberfest motorcycle events held in and around Volusia County. During these events, we know that we went through that, so we know how this began. We know that this began. That they've been watching them, and you pointed this out when we were talking personally, that they've been watching the clubhouses and stuff like that. So yeah, we did cover that earlier. So instead of so let's move on a little bit. So we've established that. Go ahead. Okay. So then we were on the history of the biker groups, and I believe I don't know exactly where we were then. I thought that's where we were. Mongols have an estimated 800 to 900 U.S. members. I'm on page 6 now. The Mongols Outlaw Motorcycle Group have an estimated 800 to 900 U.S. members spread across 70 plus chapters across 28 states and are known to have a propensity for violence. One of the Mongols chapters is situated in Volusia County, located at 2203 Cow Creek Road, Edgewater.
Yeah, we're not going to put the address of the clubhouse out there.
Well, then tell me what you want me to read, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to read this verbatim.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we already know this part. We know that they were watching the Mongols clubhouse. We know that there was a clubhouse in Volusia County. And we know that because of that, they were watching them. That much we know. So we don't have to go over that again. Let's go here. On March 8th, approximately at this time. Okay, so we already know that there was a fight there. We know that the police were dispatched there. And we know that these are things that we know already. We've covered this 1,000 times. So we know that many, many police departments showed up there. And below is the narrative now by the New Smyrna Police Detective Jordan Ishikawa. So now we can go into the history of what Jordan Ishikawa said. Are you good with that right here? So we're on the bottom.
Yeah, whatever.
Page 7. Let's go here.
Bottom of page 7. Officer Johnson?
No.
I don't see it. Jordan.
This is a narrative drafted by, so the bottom of page 6. Below is a narrative drafted by Smyrna Beach Police Detective.
Okay, I gotcha.
Jordan Ishikawa.
All right. Yep, and the New Smyrna Beach Police Department initial report on March 8th, 2025, officers of New Smyrna Beach Police Department responded to racetrack located at 3000 State Road 44, New Smyrna Beach, in regard to a shooting. Upon arrival, the scene was secured. and emergency services arrived to render aid to one victim, Marvin Granick, Warlock, who sustained a gunshot wound which grazed the side of his head. Mr. Granick subsequently refused to complete a statement. Later on, he made one, though. The second victim, Thomas McDaniel, Warlock, initially advised that he did not want any involvements with law enforcement and did not wish to complete a statement. Officer Johnson stated that Mr. McDaniel believes he was hit in the back of the head with nunchucks. Officer Johnson advised that a third victim, James Reynolds, was later found, who stated that his vehicle was shot. He later wrote a statement.
Brandon, was that where that newspaper article BD got that from?
Okay.
Nunchucks? I think so, because I heard nunchucks before.
Yeah, we were questioning it like where the hell did they get this shit from? Where is this coming from?
Because
this indictment.
Yeah, this is I mean, it says nunchucks when the cop is paraphrasing what McDaniel said, but when you're reading the actual statement, he just says a hard. I didn't see him say nunchucks, so I don't know. But Thomas McDaniel initially advised that he did not want any involvements with law enforcement and did not wish to complete a statement, but he made a statement. Officer Johnson stated that Mr. McDaniel believes he was hit in the back. Okay, we already said that. Officer Johnson advised that a third.
Hold on, Brandon. Where was his statement made to? The other cop or not, or this cop?
So that's not really. Go ahead.
Was because there was a statement that you went over.
Yeah, let me go down there because these are multiple reports from a bunch of cops that were on scene.
So it wasn't this cop. The statement to it was the other one.
Hold on, I'm looking. Let me see here. No, it was to this cop. Detective Daly is the one that Mr. McDaniel made the statement to.
And
so at the top, this isn't Detective Daly. This is Jordan. Whatever. I can't pronounce that. I'm gonna butcher it.
Just making. I just want everybody to follow.
Ishikawa? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I was gonna butcher that. I didn't even want to try. No, so I'm glad you pointed that out. So maybe that's why this guy's saying nunchucks and the actual detective just said a hard object. Maybe that's why there's a discrepancy there.
Right.
So reading on, the fourth victim, Anthony Trimbley, Mongol, was shot in the stomach and arrived to Halifax Hospital, Daytona Beach. Mr. Trimbley stated that he was practicing cross-drawing when he accidentally discharged the firearm, causing the projectile to discharge into his abdomen. Mr. Trimbley stated that he did not know where he was at in Edgewater, but he was alone when the accident occurred. He did not wish to pursue charges and refused to complete a statement. So that's a Mongol saying that he shot himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. That's why I was smiling.
Which we covered that. Yeah. And absolutely he refused to talk. I was cross-drawn and shot myself.
Yeah.
I shot myself.
I don't know where I was, but I was alone.
I don't know where I was. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
The Mongol didn't give no statement. He actually said, "Hey, I shot myself."
Well, he gave a statement. I shot myself. And I don't know where I was, but I was alone.
I shot myself and I don't know where I was, but I was alone. That's basically exactly what he said.
I was so lonely and just shot and alone.
I think that deserves a No Punk Award.
I think it does.
Before we go
so
on,
officer,
hold on. We're gonna take a quick intermission. Let people go out there, take a whiz or whatever they have to do, and we're gonna come back. Brandon, or how do you say it? Flames or?
So I got a couple things going on. I got Brandon Bachas is my name, right? And then Flames Trotter's like my music alias, but it's a nickname that stuck with me too. So whatever.
That's who we got on right now. He's going through the paperwork that he discovered regarding this Mongols and Warlocks situation. But you guys got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Go grab yourself a beer, do what you got to do, and we'll be right back. You can get this song as well as others over on Insane Music right on YouTube or Apple Music. Get over there and get the songs for your playlist. We'll be back.
Pouring shots in the neon under smoke and lies, serving dreams to the drifters with nowhere left to fly. My Harley waits outside, she's my ticket to Rome. When the bar shuts down,
everybody, don't forget to get your copy of Power and Betrayal, baby. It's available on Amazon right now. It is the latest book, man. My story of outlaw motorcycle club life. It's part of the Betrayal series. You can also get Brotherhood and Betrayal on Amazon. Go get your copy now and support the show. Rock on. Okay, we're back and we're going over the paperwork that Brandon has brought to us, and he's presenting. He's the one who grabbed this after a video that me and Black Dragon did, and a lot of it, an article that we were covering, was pulled from this. And go ahead, Bleedy, it's on you guys.
Did you write that song, Hollywood?
Yeah, why?
That's the song you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, I just checking.
Yeah, I kind of like the song too. I was jamming to it.
Producer and stuff. Go ahead, Hollywood.
Rock on.
Rock
But
on.
go ahead. Well, you know what? Hold on. We got to do this one again.
Welcome to Insane Throttle Biker News. Before we dive into today's conversation, the audience should be reminded that the views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official stance or opinions of Insane Throttle Biker News, the Biker Angle, or any other programs that are associated with Insane Throttle Biker News.
Go ahead, Brandon.
We were
All right, where were we, BD?
so you were at the the victim that said he shot himself and didn't know where he was, and was cross drawing. Not a very good cross drawer, obviously, but
Yeah,
he'll be better next time. Keep going.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
True gangster right there. Didn't say a word.
yeah, that's why I was smiling. I smile every time I read that. Yeah, you didn't know where he was, but he was by himself. Pow. Okay, so Officer Johnson later spoke with all witnesses who called into dispatch. He stated that two pertinent witnesses are Reed Bosco, Ashley Keene. Mr. Bosco provided one video and 3 photographs as evidence, and Miss Keene provided 1 digital video as evidence. Video one, my light turned out. Video 1, the person recording captures a large disturbance and what appears to be a white male wearing a basketball jersey discharge a firearm. At this time, everyone in the large crowd then disperses. The video then pans over to multiple individuals beating down onto one person. The individuals who were beating the one individual appeared to be part of the Mongols. Multiple rounds were then discharged, and the camera zooms out.
Now,
People can be seen.
There's only 2 known videos on the internet, so they must have other ones too.
Oh no, but this is the one
so,
that everybody saw. This is the one that got me taken down off of Facebook and got
Really?
me demonetized for a while. So
wow, Facebook, man.
Yeah, man, it hurt. Go ahead. People can be seen taking cover behind bushes and continue to disperse. Video 2, go ahead, take over. Video 2 right here.
Yeah, video 2, the person recording zooms in on what appears to be multiple members of the Mongols beating down on a singular individual on the ground. Shortly thereafter, 12 to 15 gunshots can be heard. At approximately 13 seconds, a male wearing a white t-shirt, black pants, sunglasses, and bald can be seen brandishing a firearm. He subsequently discharged an unknown number of projectiles. When the firearm discharges, everyone surrounding the area can be seen running away from the location. Traska followed up with the witness, Marshall Knight, who advised his account of the incident. He stated that he was stopped at the intersection of Ocean Gate and State Road 44, facing east when he heard 1 gunshot. This caused him to look where he heard the gunshot come from, racetrack, parking lot in parentheses, and heard a secondary gunshot. He then observed a large crowd of what appeared to be bikers, in quotes, beginning to start running and hide behind items. Mr. Knight then said he observed one male who was stationary, brandishing a firearm, and described him as a white male with a dark biker vest and had a white or yellow t-shirt. He further stated that the suspect had short, dark hair. Mr. Knight stated he observed this same male discharge the firearm at least 3 additional times. Mr. Knight completed a sworn written statement. Mr. Knight stated that he could not.
Who's the Knight guy? Is this just a civilian?
I think it's a guy driving down the road and seen a disturbance and pulled over and got some stuff on his camera or watched it, whatever they got from him. He was parked on the highway watching this.
Okay.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, it wasn't a member of either club then.
No.
Okay.
No,
It's not clear. No, I don't think so. I think this is just some guy driving on the road.
Okay.
So Mr. Knight stated that he could not identify the male suspect from a lineup. So even the bystander did some gangster a little bit. Officer Johnson stated that Volusia County Deputy Smith assisted in the search for the suspect vehicle. I was notified that the following information was found. Should I read this timeline?
No. So we got 9 minutes left. So
Let's go to members only. Yeah.
So let's do some summarizing here. So you've been through this indictment backward and forward, obviously. So this was the timeline. So let's just hit it quickly. You don't have to read it word for word, but hit it quickly as to kind of what happened, what they saw. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Let me go to the timeline. So according to them, I'm going to hit this quickly. They were notified that the information was found 11:37 hours at I-95. The white F-150 can be seen traveling southbound. 11:39 at CR-442. The white F-150 was seen traveling eastbound. I'm going to interpret this as traffic cameras.
Yeah.
11:40 hours at CR-442. An unknown motorcycle and the silver Silverado was seen traveling eastbound. Flock camera. So, yeah, that's a traffic camera. At Cow Creek Road provided a hit on a Chevy Silverado.
Each one of this tells the kind of camera. So you had the Fusos, you had the Flock. The other thing that I saw a lot of was license plate readers. I guess they have these things stationed all over the damn place, Hollywood. And Brandon, and I wasn't aware of this. They must be everywhere because this is one of the ways they've identified so many of these folks. Even one guy that they found was a shooter. They name a shooter, and he had a mask on. Well, first of all, he didn't put the mask on until after he got there. But when he engaged in shooting, right, and then put the mask on, he ran away from the shooting with the mask on, and it didn't do any good because the camera, some sort of traffic license plate cam, and they must have them everywhere.
They got them.
That's what I think this Flock is. FLOCK. I believe that's what that is. They use them in Chicago too.
Maybe I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Be on the lookout. We'll send out via CAD, which is whatever their communication thing is for the vehicle shortly thereafter. Okay, go ahead. It should be noted here. Here you go, right there.
Yeah, it should be noted. I'm not going to mention their clubhouse. Officers of the Edgewater, they can read, just like you said. You were right. This is my first time coming on your show doing this. Officers of the Edgewater Police Department later found the vehicle and conducted a felony stop on said vehicle. The single occupant was removed from the vehicle. This individual was identified as Clinton Walker. The vehicle was removed from the scene by Universal Towing and transported to Volusia County, secured. The occupant was detained until my arrival. Due to the incident, the criminal...
That's the part where we find out later that he was put in the back seat and maybe a picture was taken of him. And
Go ahead. Yeah, you want me to summarize?
Yeah, summarize. Mm-hmm.
So, and this is in the paperwork too, when you continue to read on. Clinton Walker was in the backseat of a cop car, and they asked him for a statement, and he refused to give them a statement, said he wanted his attorney present, so lock that down. So the cop just took pictures of him, and that's all they got from Clinton Walker. He didn't make no statement.
So when they got that picture, is that the time that they sent the picture over to?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and tie that in then.
Yeah. So when they took the picture of Clinton Walker, the police officer who took the picture of Clinton Walker sent the pictures he took, and of the tattoos on his neck, sent those pictures to the police officer that was questioning Thomas McDaniel, the alleged warlock or whatever. And that's when Thomas McDaniel positively identified Clinton Walker for having tattoos that look like Mongol tattoos and being present during the incident.
So he identified those photos as.
Yep, he specifically identified Clint Walker as being present during the incident and having tattoos that looked like he was a Mongol. That's exactly what he said.
But not necessarily that he was the shooter. Let's get that understood.
No, you're right. No, you're right. That's an inference on my part. You're right. No, you're 100%. Hey, the exact thing that happened that Thomas McDaniel said when he was shown the picture of Clint Walker was that he was on the scene of the incident and that his tattoos on his neck look like he's a Mongol.
Right. So that's not. So take that as you will. All right, move on.
Yep. So then here we have a guy.
This part we know. In this part we know. So the racetrack had individuals in the large parking lot. Multiple vehicles were arriving, and this part we went over a lot of times. What we introduced new here, Hollywood, that hadn't been heard before was earlier. It was told to us, you and I, by a source that the Mongols didn't particularly start this. This started as them trying to call to get reinforcements because they were initially set upon by a large group of warlocks that was already there. So on what we've heard is that they didn't particularly start this. Now, the police department and the videos, they don't say anywhere that was the case. And what's interesting is that I really haven't seen anything that talks about what happened, particularly before the incident. Was there a situation where that happened? That hasn't been covered by any news source so far. Moving forward,
I wanted to point out this for sure since we're reaching that hour mark. On page 16, there was another warlock that did make a sworn statement, and that hasn't been mentioned at all, not even by the other newspaper.
Go ahead. We're there. We're on page 16 now.
Yeah, at the top of 16, we have a individual. He's labeled as the second victim, was cooperative with photo documentation of injuries sustained to his head. The photographs were uploaded to evidence.com that concludes my involvement in the investigation. The second report was captured or was drafted by Daytona Beach Police Department Detective Christian Batella on March 8th, 2025. I responded to Halifax Hospital in reference to assist New Smyrna Beach Police Department with the shooting. I was asked by Captain Jones to assist New Smyrna Beach Police in interviewing one of the shooting victims. I made contact with Marvin Granick, who provided me with a sworn statement. This is another warlock. Provided me with a sworn statement. Granick stated that he and his group were all at the racetrack located at 3000 SR 44 in New Smyrna Beach, meeting up for a ride to Daytona Beach. Granick stated that he is a part of the Warlocks. Granick then stated that an argument that led to a fist fight.
He validated himself. Oh my God.
I don't want to say that he called himself a warlock. I believe they validated him by seeing him wearing a cut, but he had a t-shirt on, something like that.
If you read it directly, this is what it says.
Yeah, I'm going to read it.
Right here.
Okay.
What does it say?
Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, I didn't even catch that. He did. Granick stated that he is a part of the Warlocks. Yeah, he did. He told the cop that.
Keep going.
Yeah, so Granick then stated that an argument led to a fist fight, started in the parking lot with another group. Granick refused to state who the other group was. Granick then stated that he heard gunshots and tried to duck behind a bike when he was hit. Granick does not know who shot him and cannot identify. Granick does not want to press charges. Granick was grazed by a bullet on his head and was alert and conscious. So I want to point out at the bottom that even though he said he didn't want to press charges, the interview with Granick was captured on Axon, it's the documented body cam that the cop wore to record his entire statement.
Say that again. What's the what was that name that it was documented on?
Axon.
So at the bottom of this, it says that Granick refused to make it. He refused to press charges. However, he already said all this incriminating stuff while the cop is wearing his body cam, and it was Axon. It was captured on Axon. So it's still used as evidence in this indictment.
Well, he said that he cooperated with the photo documentation of the injuries to his head. So he let them take pictures of the injuries to his head. It said that he was in a group. They were at the racetrack meeting up for a ride. He says that he was part of the Warlocks. He stated that an argument led to a fist fight started in a parking lot with another group. He refused to say who that other group was. He stated he heard gunshots and ducked behind the bike. He didn't say who shot anybody or whatever, or shot at anybody. He just said, I heard gunshots and I ducked. And then I got hit. I was shot. Granick does not know who shot him and cannot or will not identify who shot him. And he did not want to press charges. So he was grazed by a bullet to the head and was alert and conscious. So, you know. I don't know. You and Hollywood see those things a little bit differently than I do. Go ahead.
That was the other major thing I wanted to point out.
Told on anyone here, but okay.
Well, see, this is where it gets murky for me, Black Dragon. Granite then stated that an argument led to a fist fight started in the parking lot with another group. So there's only two groups there. So if I'm sitting there with my group and I say there was a fight that led to gunshots with another group, I'm inferring that it was them. That's my take on it.
Inferring that it was them that what? I don't know who shot the gun. I don't know. All I know is some gunshots came. I jumped behind a bike and I got shot in the head. That's all I know.
Well, the problem, BD, and I don't think, a lot of people understand is when a cop starts talking to you, you just give them your name and you want a lawyer. You do not say anything else. That's it. Nothing else. So I just see where, I was surprised that he validated himself as a warlock.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I did that one video on. Anytime, I never heard of the Axon. I just call them body cams. Mm-hmm. But anything that is being said, anything that's being recorded can be used now against this person in the indictment. Anything in here is going to be used against them now.
Yeah, and every single interview, every tiny piece of this is what the federal government, because we know that there's a federal. We could talk semantics. The guy, he works for the state, but then he's also a part of the terrorist, task force with the FBI. But
we can't forget, Brandon, this right here, or Black Dragon 2. This is a RICO predicate right here.
Yes.
They got a predicate for down the line, say 3, 4, 5 years for a total RICO indictment. And we also can't forget, at least on this charge and indictment right here, the way one of the Warlocks say it went down compared to, say, what we found out, that they actually outnumbered the Mongols. And then the Mongols came in and they had their talk from what we learned and said one-on-one and all that stuff. And it wasn't until the one person showed up is when everything started kicking off. So we can't, forget that type of stuff when we talk about it.
Yeah. And there's another layer to this too, where that gas station is literally only a couple miles away from the alleged clubhouse of, it's all, so to say that that's not a provocative move, I don't know. I don't want to get into that on your show, BD, but, to act like you're just an innocent victim when you pulled up right down the street from their clubhouse.
Well, that's what we can get into the members only is, what we're thinking and questions like that. I just want to make sure everything here with the statements, some of the questions are raised as far as, what constitutes this or that. The first thing you do, you shut up and get a lawyer in a situation like this.
Yes, absolutely.
Just shut up is what I say. And, with the one thing with the Mongol, he was gangster as hell, man. I shot myself. know, that's really the way, you know.
I was quick drawn, side drawn, and shot myself.
Yeah.
But you
I don't know where I was.
And I don't know where I was, but I was alone.
You got to give it to the Mongols, man. That's some gangster stuff right there. But you know, this is just one of the indictments, one.
Yeah, this is just one. There's been many. And here, there's some things that we didn't get a chance to get to because there's just so much here. But in this indictment, they talk about different police departments. They talk about each detective's surveillance notes, each detective what they saw, and really interesting. Here's the Daytona Beach Police Department's contact with the witness and at the hospital and what he said at the hospital. This is suspected identifications of people. They talk about how they found people, what kind of cars or motorcycles they were driving, what they were wearing, how they validated them on these what do you call these license plate cameras, the flock cameras. They could tell you what the rear passengers were wearing. They could tell you what time people came to the store. Then they started naming each member and what club he was, each member and who was a shooter and who was not a shooter, and how they found them, how they contacted them, and what they were wearing, and so much of this, Hollywood.
Yeah.
So much of this was them going to their own individual social media accounts and validating them via their pictures that they took in their clothes. Like if those accounts didn't exist, or if they weren't proudly showing off who they were, like I don't know if they could have validated some of them. But all they talk over and over again about, oh yeah, we went to open social media, not closed social media, not secret social media. They didn't have to bust into your WhatsApp. They just went straight on to the open
TikTok
pages
and all that stuff.
And so it talks about every single solitary person that they found, how they found them, what they were driving, and how they verified them. Or what did you call it? What's the term you use? Not verified.
Validation.
Validated.
Yeah. They explain how they validate them, and this 49 pages just goes on. And this is just one person's indictment. Is that correct? And then
yeah.
So that's
So I looked into it, and the 28 guys that they're alleging, I want to make sure I'm clear about that they're alleging did something in this. I actually looked them up individually, and they all have the exact same paperwork as far as this 49-page indictment.
Actually, it's 32 guys now. We have found that it's actually 32 guys that are now arrested. So that's something that we found out. And that's
it might grow. It might continue to grow.
And what we have to say here is, when it comes to RICO, now each one of them 32 guys are at risk of being pulled into that RICO indictment. When it comes, you know what's going to come.
Yeah, this is just a precursor for it. That's why there's a special agent involved. You know, there's a few special agents involved from the FBI.
What I would suggest to you, Brandon, is over on your YouTube channel is go over every page of this with people, you know, every page. So, because
I can do that.
This is your story. You broke it. Wow.
Yeah. So for anyone who's wondering, over on my YouTube is Flames Trotter. There's a few different ones, but it's the one that's the icon, the cartoon of me holding a skull. That is the one that I'm using, and I have a lot of material. I'm going to do exactly what Hollywood asked me to do, and I'm going to break this down over on my page a lot more extensively.
Now, Glare 1%er asked, do we know if any of them bonded out?
So I've looked into that. I didn't want to allude to that in this episode. We were going to cover that in a different one, I thought. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll,
cover it on another episode. We're going to go to the members only. Brandon's going to stay with us, and we're going to go more over this with our members. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. So if you're not a member, you can join over on Black Dragons or mine. So you should be redirected over to the member only stream as soon as this one ends. If not, you should see it pop it up as soon as we get in there. So everybody, thanks for coming in here. Like I said, man, we provide you with the reporting. You make your own decision right there. We'll see you at the members only stream coming up here in about 3 or 4 minutes. Rock on, baby.